Welcome to Cascade Media Group, and we are having a program today, a collection of people coming into our studio here at the Lincoln Building at Cascade Media to talk about the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Fuzzy Thompson. And today we have our guest, one of our guests, and one of his cohorts who he was a good friends with, a business partner with, sister, love, bitter and sweet, and all that good stuff. But Ladora from Kansas City, Kansas, welcome.
Happy to be here.
You know what? I'm glad for you to be here. You know, I'm going to frame this thing. I'm going to read this to you, and let's just kind of use this as our foundation. A culture or a group of people who come together around a common set of values and beliefs. When we share values and beliefs with others, we form trust.
Exactly.
And that trust, let's talk about that trust, the bond that you and Fuzzy created with each other.
Well, and just picking back on what you just said.
That's pretty deep, isn't it?
Culture, belief, and then trust is formed.
Right.
And that's just what it is. This whole sense of culture, and bringing people together, and even though you get a large group of people, small group of people, you have to make sure, and for anything to be successful, you've got to be able to trust that body of people.
Yeah.
And the Reverend is somebody I trusted unconditionally and wholeheartedly, because it was so symbolic of who he was. His whole fight and struggle was for justice, freedom, and equality for all. He was very concerned about the community he lived in, he served, and he also felt it had to be collective. No one person could do anything. And so we've been in many fights and many struggles for human justice and equality for all. I remember in Martin Luther King Urban Center, before we took over the building, I used to go there all the time. Fuzzy had the child care program there, and then he had youth workers and young adults, and I watched how he molded those young people, and he believed in them. That's right. And he always operated with a smile, and even when he was firm with them, it was so gentle. And I look back now and look at what these kids are doing. You know, little Shelby Watson worked in the center, and now she's a prominent attorney. And one of the young ladies that worked there has her PhD now. So it's just wonderful what was produced that came through Martin Luther King Urban Center. And Yates has tried to have that same impact on young people, and they're doing quite well too. We have kids that have come through there that are doctors and lawyers and judges now, and so we're just proud of that. And we've always connected our center's operation, because we all both focused on youth. And a little quick story, we took our kids on a field trip, and we got there. Fuzzy's children, it was a movie. His children were so well behaved. My children were spoiled, acting out, and they turned on the lights at the movie to settle my kids down. And I told them, now, okay, one more time, and we're out of here. And as soon as those lights went out, they cut up again. And then Fuzzy said, Murph, you and your kids got to go. And so that's the way he was. He was real serious about certain things, and he just wasn't going to tolerate any bad kids, you know. Right. And I really didn't either. But for some reason, I couldn't control them that day.
You know, talk about Fuzzy's creativity. and how you guys flowed together with that creativity.
Well, Fuzzy was a super intelligent guy, very, very, very creative and thought provoking, and so when he gets something in his head, he could map it out on a piece of paper, and the next thing you know, it's in existence. SCLC, he worked with that. It's just several things that he developed over the years, and that all-inclusive spirit that he had, whatever his creativity dictated, he knew how to pull the people together to make it a reality. And
That trust.
that
'Cause people are not gonna come and follow you unless there's some trust.
that's it.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes there were situations where he and I didn't agree on certain things, and other people disagreed with him on things, but he stood grounds to what he believed, and but if you can have them die hard, knock out, drag out, but he did not hold grudges. That's what I loved about him. He did not hold grudges, and people did trust him. You look at the Martin Luther King celebration; it draws people from everywhere, and it's the second largest in the country, and besides Atlanta. So all of that is real, a real testament to who he was and what he could do because of his creativity, his love for people, the love for his wife, Cheryl Christie. Oh my goodness, he go on and on and on. So
He loved him some Cheryl.
yeah, he said, "Murph, look at my beautiful wife."
Yeah.
I said, "Look at her."
Yeah.
And they loved children. They didn't have children, so they had all just many godchildren.
What do you think was one of the best programs that he had in Martin Luther King Urban Center?
I think his educational thrust. He had so much. But he really zeroed in on education, and that child care program he had in there. It was developing young people to be honest, to develop a sense of pride and character, and to maximize all that they had to be all that they could be. And so that's one of the strongest things that came out of that center, is developing young people.
You know what, while we're talking about this, you think about a building like that, Martin Luther King Urban Center, and then to have that place there for kids to be able to come there in that area to be able to do something. That's pretty powerful.
It was very powerful, and for the most part,
because they had no place else to go.
Exactly, and for the most part,
They couldn't afford it either.
Exactly, and there was not a lot of break-ins and things like that,
Right.
because the community respected Fuzzy,
Right.
and the center, and what was happening in the center and what was coming out of the center.
Right.
So I think there will never be another Reverend Dr. Nelson Fuzzy Thompson ever. Many will emulate or attempt to emulate, but that whole, I just love to say he was a quiet giant, but not literally. He was not quiet.
Quite not.
He was quiet. No, he wasn't quiet, but a giant.
Right.
And and Fuzzy loved to be seen and heard, because he felt like he had something to say.
Yeah, right.
And he did. It makes me sad to think about the loss, and yet I am so glad that he was so able in his lifetime to do the things that he did, to impact so many lives, and that rich history will live on forever. The legacy of Reverend Nelson Fuzzy Thompson, Reverend Doctor, he wants you to know that he earned his doctorate. Yeah, he earned it. See, it wasn't nothing that they just tacked on. That's what he got. Right. So, and the fact that he was super intelligent, very organized, and that helped produce some of those many things. He had that Juneteenth celebration that brought people from miles around. It was one of the largest in the country when he was doing it, when he had the center over there. And he had that Martin Luther King Center parade. It was just so much. And we're there now. We've been there about 8 years, and people all over the neighborhood, and even people that were in that church when it was a church, come and ask, now, what happened to Reverend Thompson? And I said, oh, did you know Reverend Thompson? Oh, yes, he cleaned up this community and he got us all involved, and I never thought I would have done that. But that guy is some kind of guy. That's the way they talked about him. And so when they come in town to see their parents and all, they bring their parents up there because of the church and talk about the Reverend Fuzzy. And then the kids in the neighborhood come and say, can we just look in here? Well, they're not kids anymore, they're adults. They grew up there, and they want their kids to see, where they grew up, and talked about Reverend Thompson. Even the neighborhood adults always asked about Reverend Thompson. And
when are you going to commemorate the
we made the auditorium in the building. We named that in honor of Reverend Dr. Nelson and Cheryl Thompson, and we're going to unveil his portrait in the next 2 months. And place it on the wall.
Is that going to be like a celebration, like
a real celebration?
That should be a real celebration.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
You need to let us know.
We will. We will, and we definitely want you there. And we want the community to come out for that.
That should be real fun.
Yes.
Music, a little music.
A little music, because see, he loves him some music.
That's what I'm saying.
So we got to do it in his honor. So we got to do it the way he would like it. Have a little gospel, a little jazz, a little blues.
You're going to be in charge?
I'm going to be in charge.
Okay, well, we know it's going to be right.
Yeah, it's going to be right. It's going to be right.
You have a little food?
Oh, we're going to have some food.
Because, Fuzzy like food.
Oh, and we know how to produce it.
Yeah.
Oh, we do a spread.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks good.
Yeah.
And it tastes good.
It tastes good.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have enjoyed this moments with you this evening, and this has been a very difficult task for me. And but you've livened me up a little bit there.
I hope
smile.
So. Yeah,
I like that smile.
Oh, and Fuzzy had a big old pretty smile.
Oh yeah.
He had a big old pretty smile, and sometimes you gotta smile to keep from crying.
Right.
And like I said, this could be a sad occasion, but we're not gonna let it be, because Fuzzy was so full of life.
Yeah.
And he will live on.
Yeah, that's right. He will live on. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's been a pleasure for you to be here with us at Cascade Media. And What's Up Kansas City. And folks, you can catch all of this will be live on the internet. You can share it with your friends and family. And I want you young folks to really pay attention to some of the interviews and look at a person who developed a collaboration with a man. And they did some wonderful things, and the legacy is still living on. Give them the address to the Martin Luther King Urban Center, which is the Yates now.
The Friends of Yates is 1418 Garfield in Kansas City, Kansas. Our number is 913-321-1566. And if you want to know more about the center and some of the work of Reverend Thompson and how we've meshed some of his work and with what we do, you can see the collaboration was strong and it lives on. And we're just real pleased to have encountered a person like Reverend.
And when you have this celebration, it'll be out there in the public.
Yes, it'll be.
You ought to think about doing it on Juneteenth.
Well, see, I'm not a reverend in that sense.
Well,
and he liked the outdoors and everything, and then he loved what Juneteenth meant.
Yeah.
And I love what it stands for, but I don't think so.
Okay. It's a thought.
Okay.
Everything starts with a thought.
That's right, and I'll take it into consideration.
With common beliefs and values.
There it is.
Okay.
The culture,
yeah. A group of common values and beliefs.
Forms trust.
Forms trust comes together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
beautiful.
Yeah, I hope that we lived up to your expectations.
It was great.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that you included me.
Oh yeah, and you go out and you tell people that you was over here with these little black boys over here on the second floor of the Lincoln Building. They're doing some great things.
Okay, I would definitely
Welcome to
do
Cascade Media. Today we are doing some shots and segments and interviews on the legacy of Reverend Dr. Nelson Fuzzy Thompson. And we have a real proud pleasure to have a young lady who I've been knowing all her life, and she's a grown woman now, and who was very close to Reverend Dr. Nelson Fuzzy Thompson. Carla Bussey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
All right, good to see you here,
too.
boy. Boy, you look so pretty and happy and stuff.
Thank you.
Yes, and so you were close with Fuzzy, right?
Yes.
Right. Your daddy said earlier that Fuzzy raised y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a mother and a father, but Fuzzy was definitely a parental figure.
Mhm.
Like another dad.
Mhm. And you trusted him.
Yes.
You trusted him, and that's we were talking about when people come together with a common set of values and beliefs.
Mhm.
Trust is formed, and so that's what you're saying you had. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the Reverend.
It's just like he said. It was kind of like I always meet people in life that maybe have absence of a father, and whereas we had a lot of father figures in our lives, and Fuzzy was a primary one. So it was just that. I mean, he was a caretaker. When he would take care of us, he would take us everywhere. If he went to play basketball, or if he was going to UMKC, or going to school, or going to the center, or at his house, or what have you.
You rode.
Yeah.
You rode.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool though.
Mhm.
That I think that's with all of you guys, with Nora and Holly and all. That was the beauty. You guys had a chance to see a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were exposed to a lot.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
just meeting people. People been knowing you guys since you were kids,
Mhm.
and now you grown and we old.
Oh my God.
I don't feel. You know what? After doing all these interviews today, this has not been a real easy thing for me to do, but it's been a good experience to be able to serve. And that's what we want you guys to do, service above self.
Mhm.
So how do you think Fuzzy impacted your education and your morals and your principles that you have now?
One thing I appreciated about, again, a lot of the people, the adults in our family, everybody had high standards. And Fuzzy wasn't short of that at all. If he heard you had a B, that was a bad thing. He said,
Right.
what is a B? I don't even know what a B looks like.
Right.
He said B stands for bad.
Right.
That's how high his standards came to, when it came to education and just, pushing yourself. There's no such thing as perfection. Like, impossible is nothing. That was kind of, at least that's what, that's how he taught us.
Kane ain't got no home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kane ain't got no home. Yeah, so we gotta make it roll. Now, and you, what is your occupation now?
I'm a motion graphics artist.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about who you are.
You mean occupation-wise or just?
Well, yeah, you graduated from where did you
Okay,
go to
so
school? And
I
all
did my
that?
undergraduate at Howard University, where I initially studied communications and film, and I knew they mostly taught production, and but I knew I wanted to do post-production. So I actually worked for Phil Curls for a couple years, where I did print design, and then I decided I wanted to go back to school because I wanted to do design and broadcast. And so that's what I studied. And after that, I went to the National Geographic Channel in Washington, D.C. and worked there for about 6 years. And then went over to Booz Allen, which is a consulting firm, to do a lot of government contracts. So now I'm working on starting my own business in Savannah, Georgia, doing motion graphics. And for now, most of my clientele is actually in D.C. It's remote work, which is cool.
Right.
So I could have a client base anywhere, and I think that's something that's nice with, today's age versus, you having to work in an office. Now you can work anywhere, have a client
Virtual.
anywhere.
And you do what kind of design?
It's called motion graphics or broadcast design. It's literally design for broadcast. So animation is probably the best word to explain what I do.
Do you do any handwork?
No, I don't do any handwork. It's all computer generated graphics.
Now, so you're saying you believe that Fuzzy had an impact on where you are today?
Absolutely. Just like you were talking about exposure. I probably never would have worked for Phil Curls had not been for the Reverend, building all of those relationships and connections.
And you went to Howard University and graduated? Did Nora come to your graduation?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. I think Rosalind put that together.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. It was good to have you over
and then
there.
she went to Marcus's graduation too. Yeah, she was very insistent on putting that together.
Good.
That was
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
It is
that was nice of her. She's a good person.
Yes, definitely.
Now, so what's your future look like? What do you, based upon the experience and exposure that you've had through Fuzzy and your mama and your daddy, where do you think the young people should be doing now? Where are you guys going?
I think a lot of our battles may even carry over from some of, you guys' battles or in the generation before, is that I think we have got to get to a point where it's okay to admit our flaws and work to solve them. As I think a lot of time as a community, we like to ignore some of the flaws within the community. And I think until we tackle some of the issues within the core, I don't think we're going to solve any issues.
Understanding why. The big why.
The sources of some of the issues.
Go to the middle. Not
Absolutely.
to the how and the what. Go to the...
Quit putting Band-Aids on issues.
Because when you deal with how and what, you just talking about results. But when you go to the middle of the bullseye, to the why, we start... Because then we bring together people with common values and beliefs.
Exactly.
You think that makes sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you think that we need to get to the core root of some of the issues that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
For us to grow. So where do you want to be in the future? Do you want to stay as a graphic artist, or do you want to be a mother, or do you want to be a wife, or do you want to be an advocate, or do you want to be an activist or a politician?
All of the above.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now where do you reside now?
Right now I'm in Savannah, Georgia.
You're in Savannah, Georgia, and you like it there?
I love it there.
Boy, that was exciting. I saw you electrified when you said that. Is that because you got a little boo there, or what? That didn't hurt.
That probably didn't hurt, but I like Savannah for a lot of reasons. The weather, I've never met more friendly people, ever. It's a beautiful city. It's an art town, so it's good for what I do. There's a good community for what I do with SCAD. I'm teaching at SCAD as well. So
teaching what?
Teaching computer arts.
Oh, really? At a college, a high school?
Yeah, it's the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Really? Oh, so you're a professor now?
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Little Carla.
Yeah.
You're a professor.
Yes, sir.
That is so cute. I like that. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Facts, tales, and stories sell all day long. Facts, tell. You remember that? Facts, tales, and stories sell.
See, another lesson.
Yeah.
I never stop learning.
Yeah. Now, and so what do you? Is that a 4-year accredited college?
They have MFA programs, BFA programs. They have campuses in Savannah, Atlanta, Lacoste, France, and Tokyo.
Really?
Mhm.
So it's an international school.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did they write a famous movie down there in Savannah?
Possibly there. Oh, you talking about the what is that? In the Garden of Good and Evil?
Or something like that.
That
Yeah.
seems to be the most famous.
Yeah, I saw that movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some people down, associates down that way somewhere in that area. But that's have you thought about going to some of the what is it, the Maroons and the Gullick Islands?
Yes, since I've been there, I've heard of it in the Carolinas and
Yeah.
the Geechees, and yeah, I definitely would like to go. There's some islands off of Savannah that are like they talk about the 40 acres and a mule. It's interesting. The history there, Hilton Head Island
Right.
was actually a part of that in reparations. They awarded the slaves that area for their land, and and again, same issues today. Like we kind of don't have the foresight to think about tomorrow. Like I have this land now, but somebody's offering me money today. I can live over here. It's just land. Not thinking about the heritage and the history,
Mm-hmm.
and and about the future generation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was lost, and it's not what it was, then. But to learn the history there is.
Yeah, that's why I
interesting.
stay over on 21st Street. One of y'all might
Stay
need
on the north side.
Yeah, one of y'all might need a place to rest that one day. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And you never know. I mean, because that's the way I see it now.
Mhm.
You know that, and I was really thinking about that more. You know that some of you guys might, you might need a place just to, hey,
Hmm.
stay for a minute till you can get back up on your feet. And we need more of that. And when you give away your land like that,
Hmm.
you don't have the opportunity to do it. And they gave away a lot of land.
Yes, they
You know,
did.
we just talking about a couple of lots where I'm at, but they gave
Hey,
away.
right.
Yeah. But it happens.
Mhm.
But anyhow, I've enjoyed talking to you today. You want to give a fuzzy story before we let you go?
I guess one story that's kind of been on my mind. I posted a picture on Facebook because it reminded me of this one day. It was Christmas. Fuzzy and Cheryl used to always get us something for Christmas. And this particular year, Fuzzy said, "Okay, I'm gonna get you something early." I don't remember why, but he said, "I'm gonna get you a gift early, but when Christmas comes, don't come looking for a gift." And so I said, "Okay." So he got us this cool, or he got me a cool gift. It's called like a pogo ball, so it's like a dense basketball, and it's got like a round platform, and you jump on it. Anyway, so Christmas came, and my mom took us over Fuzzy's trust and said, "Okay, you remember Fuzzy told you you're not getting a gift." I'm like, yeah. So we get there, and you got the tree lit up, and you look at the tree, and you see there's all these gifts under the tree. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a gift under the tree. So, and we go over there, and I'm like, I don't see a gift here. Keep on looking. I said, "Fuzzy, where's the gift?" And he's like, "I told you you wouldn't get a gift for Christmas." And I start bawling. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he's laughing. And but it's just a funny memory because after all of that, he still took us to the store
And
and got
got
us a
you a
gift.
gift. Got
So,
you a gift.
And that's how he was all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
Facts tell, stories sell, right?
exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a real great experience for me. See this young lady that I've been knowing all her life. Now she's a grown woman. She's a real woman now, and finding her way, and share some great stories about the Reverend Dr. Nelson Fuzzy Thompson, who we all loved and admired, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And come back and see us again. And folks, you can watch more interviews about the late Reverend Dr. Fuzzy Thompson. Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to Cascade Media. And we have with us Marcus Bussey.
Yes.
And what we're doing is we're spreading the joy and the wealth about the late Reverend Dr. Fuzzy Thompson. And I know that Carla and you had a wonderful experience with the Reverend. Your daddy told us earlier, Carl Bussey, that Fuzzy raised y'all.
He did raise us. I would venture to say it might have been more than our parents in the beginning, though. You know,
In the beginning.
in the beginning.
And that's good.
I
Because
think
that
so.
means that you needed a stopgap, right?
Well, we called him Reverend.
Right.
But,
right,
yeah.
Right.
He was the party for us.
He was the party.
He was
Yeah.
the party.
Yeah. Take you all around everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ride
He
you
took us
around.
on a tour in Kansas City, so we saw all the sights
Right.
of Kansas City.
Right. And then you stopped and got something to eat too.
So McDonald's, yes.
Yeah.
Some nuggets, some fries. He always ate our fries.
Yeah. That sounds like him. You know what, Marcus? How do you think Fuzzy has impacted your life?
Well, I think what people I haven't heard or mentioned is he always had excitement for the future. And when I say the future, he had excitement for young people.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was his gift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what, no matter when he saw us, he was full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his gift, is just being energetic.
Mm-hmm.
To me, you know, is contagious.
Contagious. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And so you're saying you Fuzzy had the common values and beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
bringing that consensus together,
Mm-hmm.
and we formed trust.
Mm-hmm.
So you trusted him, right?
Yeah, he's all I know because he married my mom and my dad. So
Right. I know about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh yeah, you was in the pictures.
Yeah, I know. Fuzzy married me too.
Oh
Yeah. It must be something about it because none of us lasted.
Well, the love lasted.
You know what the love did? You know what the beautiful part about that is that you guys,
Mm-hmm.
which is so special,
Yeah, I think so.
very very special.
You're
I
right.
also remember Miss Williamsburg gave you a spanking one time
She
too.
did beat me.
Oh,
and
she beat him.
that should be illegal. By the way.
But they
I think
said,
I should press charge.
but Rosanna and Lon and they set you up. But you took it like a real man.
Yeah.
You know what? So tell me this thing about this Fuzzy thing. You know, give me a good story about that you took.
What I forgot is that Fuzzy took me to the Million Man March
There you go.
one time, and we got to share being men. And Fuzzy was a great leader, and I always picked up on the little things that he did as far as being a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a good communicator, again, with the energy, and he believed in sharing. So it was always positive energy from Reverend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, really important. Like when you talked about shared values,
Mm-hmm.
that's just really important.
Mm-hmm. People come together with a common belief and values.
Mm-hmm.
That trust is developed.
Yeah, because I didn't know all the great things he had done till I didn't understand the great thing he had done till I got much older.
Right. You know, Marcus, how do you think that experience with Fuzzy impacted your education?
I think it impacted my people education, like
People skills.
people skills. You know, that's really important. Like you have I would say your book skills, your education, your degrees, but you have to learn how to deal with people.
Right.
And he knew that from an instinctual point of view. You
I
know?
like that.
Yeah, he just had it. You know.
Right. You know, right. Yeah, you know, they say that that the written or learned education is second but those people skills are number one.
Oh yeah, number one.
Yeah, they say that's where a lot of leaders in these corporations fall short, is that they don't have people skills.
Yeah, you have good people skills.
You think so?
And President Carlos, he's got good people skills.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty. He can do it all. The camera.
Yeah.
Art direction.
Yeah, he just has a problem with finding that balance.
Oh yeah, well, so because he's got so much energy.
Right. He's got a lot of energy. On a serious note, this has been a long day, and I see you got your daughter with you. That's real cool. We did an interview with Nora.
I saw that.
Back here.
Was it about breastfeeding?
Yeah, breastfeeding.
I saw it.
And we had the baby with us. And now you got your child with you. Now, what we're going to do is, I want you to give us a good word about the great Reverend Nelson Thompson, and then we're going to wrap this up for today.
A great word.
Yeah, your thoughts. Give us your thoughts. See, you're a young guy. I want to hear your thoughts.
Just on who he was.
Yeah, who he was. Who do you think he was to you?
He was. How can I say it? It might be a little too deep, but
We don't mind that.
you don't mind that?
No, we got boots on.
Okay. I'll come from the heart. What I'll say is, my father, he kept me around a lot of great men, such as yourselves, such as Carlos, and Reverend was another great man that my father kept us around. Somebody like Horace Peterson. And he just taught us so much. I can't even venture to say how much he did teach us, but he's irreplaceable
Okay.
to the community and to me as my godfather. He's just irreplaceable. But he just shined a light on the whole city. I remember he told us this all the time. He said, "Why do y'all leave Kansas City? Why do y'all want to leave Kansas City? Y'all should just stay here and make Kansas City great." Because he loved the city so much and the people here, And I think what gift he left us was to value yourself and the people you love. That was his gift.
That's good. That's good. You said something about the heart. I want you to remember this for Proverbs 4:23. It says, "Keep all diligence in thy heart, because that's where all the issues of life lie." So at the end of the day, if you never see anybody again, you carry that person and those values in your heart.
That's true.
Marcus, it's been a pleasure to interview you tonight. It's been a long day. We got a long day tomorrow.
You should get some rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some rest.
Okay.
And get some rest, and I appreciate you and Carla and your little one Zoe.
Zoe Simone.
Zoe Simone, you want to tell people bye
You
bye?
want to tell bye?
Okay, you want to tell them bye bye?
You want to tell them?
Okay, you want to say bye bye?
Are you going to go to sleep?
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
CMG wants you to always remember, the victory we call success goes to the best prepared. When you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Thanks.